G'day everyone, it's Bo from GrowthWise. In the video today, we're going to be looking at Microsoft's PowerAutomate. PowerAutomate is a tool that allows you to create robotic workflows, for example, robotic processes in a web browser, to be able to complete tasks. For our example workflow today, we're going to be going into the Autosuper section of Xero. We're going to be setting a due date end, clicking the checkbox to figure out all of the payments up to that due date end, and then we're going to extract that value, and we're also going to extract the total overall value of superannuation payable as well. On my screen at the moment, you should be able to see our GitHub page with a README. This will be in the description below, just so that you have access to it. It explains how to do everything in this video, so we'll leave that there so that you can follow along, but during the video, we'll be talking through everything that's in the README anyway. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is jump into PowerAutomate, and then in the top left-hand corner, we're going to click on New. Then we're going to click on Flow. We're going to give the flow a name. So let's call it Super Duper Bot. Then we're going to check this box that says PowerFX enabled, because we did use PowerFX in the workflow that we're going to use, and then click on Create. After you've clicked Create, it may take a little bit of time to initially create the flow, but then you should see this page with the little lightning bolt symbol in the middle that says you don't have any actions here yet. That's what we're about to fix up. To create our actions, we're going to jump back into our GitHub now. We're going to click on this super_check_bot. And then when we go into here, there's going to be a bunch of code that probably doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but all we need to do is click on this little copy raw file button here, and then we'll be able to switch back into the PowerAutomate designer. So you can see that there. We'll just bring that back up on my computer. And then we're going to right click and go to paste. There you go. You can see that you've now got all of those flow actions directly in PowerAutomate. We do have a few errors here. You'll see that in the README as well. It's not too difficult to fix. We're going to go through how to fix that up. But you can see now all of the steps for this workflow are already in PowerAutomate, and we're almost ready to run it. For the next steps, we need to be able to have Microsoft Edge open. We need to be logged into Xero, and we need to be on the superannuation payments page, as you can see here. And then if we jump back into the PowerAutomate designer, we're going to double click on where it says this first step that's failed. So step 13, populate text field on web page. So this is actually just picking the date field. So what we need to do, if we double click on this, we can then click on here and click on add UI element. And then you can see now we get this little picker thing that pops up, and it says control and left click to actually capture an element. So what we need to do now, this is the field that we want. I'm going to control on my keyboard, left click on my mouse, and then we're going to save. So that now knows where to target for that particular field. We need to copy it for this next one here. So same process, go to add UI element. This one, we're actually just looking for the view button. So control, left click, save. The last one that we need is the checkbox. So we're going to double click on this again. Click into the UI element box, click on add UI element, and then we can see here what we actually want. You'll see if you go to certain spots, it's going to change. We actually want the one that says span. So where it says span, control, left click, and then go to save. So you can see now in the bottom left-hand corner, we actually have a ready state, which means that we can actually run this workflow now because PowerAutomate knows everything that it needs to do. So at this point, I'm just going to save this workflow, because now we've done everything that we need to do to be able to kick it off. Well, at this point, we've fixed everything in the flow that we needed to fix. So let's jump into the flow and we'll click on run. Once I've clicked run, I'll talk through everything in each step as well. So let's click on that. The first thing that we're going to be asked is what's the super due date end that we want to use. So let's pick the date. So 28th of October, and then click on OK. The next thing that pops up is just a way of showing us what date has actually been stored. So the reason that we do this is different systems require different date inputs. So this just allows you to be certain that this is the date that's been captured before we reuse it later. You can actually disable these steps. So once you know that everything's okay, you can actually right click, disable that actual part of the flow so that you don't have this pop up and you're less disrupted. But as you're testing things, I find it very useful to do this. Let's keep going with this flow now. All we need to do is click OK on that pop-up that's come up. The next thing that we're going to need to do is provide our organizations list file. Now in our GitHub README, it has how to create this, but we've created one earlier. So all I'm going to do is click on open. Then you can see the browser is launching. We're going to get another pop-up. That pop-up is just to tell us what URL we're going to go to. Again, it's just based on a set variable. It's just a reminder so that we know where Xero is going to go to next. You can disable this step. It's not really necessary. It's just more of a troubleshooting thing. So I'll click OK, and then we're going to move on to that next step. So as you can see, we've set the due date end. We've clicked on view. I'm not using the computer at all. It's all being robotically controlled. And what we'll see shortly is a pop-up that's going to show the total that we've extracted based on what we've checked. And it's then also going to give us the total that we've extracted based on the overall liability. So I'll click OK. What's going to happen now, we're moving into the next organization. So for every row in our actual organizations list, this will just keep going and doing the same steps. So we'll let that run through now. In this particular example, there is no actual check liability. So it's just going to extract 0. But it will extract the total liability as well. So we can see still no hands. It doesn't really look like a lot's going on, but you can see in the background the PowerAutomate steps working through. So we can see there the to date liability is 0, as you can see in the screen. And then the overall superannuation liability is shown there as well. Well, there you go. As you can see, it's not a super difficult thing to actually get set up. Sure, at the moment, it's not doing anything super special, but this is a good framework that allows you to do different things. So say, for example, those values that we're already extracting, you might be able to write them to an Excel spreadsheet for multiple different organizations so that you have all of that data in one place. If this video has been helpful for you, make sure you hit the like button and make sure you subscribe. Cheers.